Hello and welcome everybody to today's video. Welcome to the Vee Academy. My name is Crumbrion, Professor Crumbrion, if you would. And today we're going to be taking a look at a wonderful game that we played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, and be happy to get your reactions to it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. If you want to follow me and watch games in real time, check me out on twitch.tv/Crumbrion. For now, let's go check out the game. Thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1, go!
Stopping a late game Lumineon feels so good. Do. Birthing pod. Interesting. Boy. That's a name. That's a name. Hello, Vice. How are you holding up, by the way? Are you safe? I mean, obviously you're online, so you're safe, but how is everything on your end of the world right now? Pokemon TCG is making you lose your mind? Me too. It's a Magic the Gathering card. It is. It's also a very interesting username. This is Roaring Moon, unfortunate. Are we going second? We are not, so we lose. That is unfortunate. Boop, boop. Managed to avoid the worst of the cyclone? That's very good to hear. That is excellent to hear. Holy crap. Well, good luck us, because we don't have a Klefki. Uh-oh. Klefki is in the prizes. Uh-oh. This might be a loyal 3 deck, though, so we'll see. Klefki would stop this thing from doing nonsense right now, but... Vise, you just missed it. We actually stopped... we played a Raging Bolt that had Lumineon for some reason. But the key part is I've used some Gardevoir tech in Dragapult. I am using Spiritomb currently, and the turn that they'd knocked out our Fezandipiti, we played Spiritomb to the bench because I just had this itchy feeling that they were going to do something weird, and the next turn they played Lumineon to bench. Woo-toombi. Banger. It was actually pretty funny. That was actually pretty funny. Man, I'm so mad that we missed Klefki on this turn. That's so annoying. We could have stopped all of this nonsense from happening, but it doesn't matter. Wonder if they have Dark Energy in hand. If they don't, then that Squawk and Seize is not going to be very good for them, so... Oh, here we go. Boss in hand, I'm certain. Oh, just infinite Pokemon catchers. That's a cool card to keep playing. That's definitely a very fun card to keep playing. Oh man, they had Boss too. They had Pokegear, I guess. It doesn't matter if they Squawk and Seize. Boss's orders incoming. You're gonna knock out my poor Buddy. I'm gonna be very sad. At least they didn't Earthen Vessel and Energy down. That's kind of fine. This doesn't matter because they just have infinite draw. I mean, if we get out of this turn with Dreepy alive, like that's ridiculously good for us, so. But I am not at all thinking that's going to happen. We kill Budew at least, unfortunately. So we need a lot to happen in this next turn. kind of come back from this. It would have been really nice to item lock them. Give me a break. Of course they did. Of course they did, because why wouldn't they? Unbelievable. What did I say, folks? What did I say? What did I say? Well, that's fine. We get to do a couple of things here. That's really good. That means that we don't have to waste a whole lot here. That's really good. First thing is first. We're getting a Dreepy. That is happening. We're getting another Dreepy. As much as I want to Iono here, I kind of just... want to do this. I really do. Really do just want to do that. Probably also just get Ultra Ball for... Not going to lie. This is one of the few times where this is actually going to be relevant right now. Get fucking wrecked. Itchy Pollen for 80. Now they have to deal with Budew, because Budew is going to become a massive issue for them. Because now they can't Dark Patch. They can't get a second Roaring Moon set up this turn. Yeah, that's what I figured was going to happen. That's fine. So now... we top deck Crispin here, this would be massive. Buddy Poffin is also good, though. I'm fine with this. Get these out. So, unfortunately now, we have to do it this way. And we have to Iono and pray here that we get some pieces. Okay, we get an energy. That kind of helps. We're just gonna take a KO here, and we're gonna get damage on a second Pokemon, because this will be relevant. If we can get like a Psychic or something here, we have Crispin for next turn. I really just don't want to put a Dark Energy on Dragapult if I can avoid it. I would much rather like have it on a monkey. Okay, Drakloak is very good. I mean, if we have to put damage down, we have to put damage down. Like it is what it is. But I definitely think we play Jamming Tower this turn to stop them from, I mean, I shouldn't put Jamming Tower down because they could have Pokestop. I don't want to put Jamming Tower down yet, I don't think. I think I want to hold it. Get the, oh man. We get the guaranteed energy, but we have energy in hand anyways. So I think I just want to get the guaranteed Drakloak. So we're just going to put this down, unfortunately. And then we just get the damage on board. Get the guaranteed Drakloak for extra draw next turn. That's very nice, because we have guaranteed energy in hand next turn anyways. We have the Phantom Dive. Not that big of a deal. And if we can take a KO here, we'll be down to 4. If they knock this out with Frenzied, we'll be knocking each other out. So then we'll be... If we can get a second Dragapult set up, we basically have game at that point. That would be fine. I would really like to get Budew out again, though. That's kind of what I would like to see come out. I'd love to get Budew out one more time. We already know they have energies in there, so it doesn't really matter. They're looking for Dark Patch. Fairly obvious. Trying to get energies for their Roaring Moon. Be disaster if we can't get a Phantom Dive off, though. I would really like a counter catcher, ultimately. Would really like a counter catcher. They're very desperate to get a Dark Patch here, I can tell. What I'd like to get is a Rescue Stretcher to get Budew back in, retreat, Crispin onto Dragapult, and then get Budew item locking them again. Night Stretcher doesn't really matter here. They're pulling out damage from the discard pile, so they're going to be attacking with their Big Moon, which is fine. I'm okay with this. Because they have to commit energy to this to retreat, and I'm not setting anything up here. I mean, I guess they don't need to. They can retreat with Subjugating Chains. That is true, actually. We didn't get our Klefki yet. That would have been nice. Okay, so that's fine. They're not powering up Big Moon yet, which is good for us. Prime Catcher is fine. Why are you attacking Spiritomb? I guess just for the prize, I suppose. Yeah, I guess we have to prioritize taking that out. I mean, we could retreat the Spiritomb now. That's also fine. Countercatcher's good. That is one thing that we needed, actually. Dragapult. I think we want to take the Kieran, because Kieran is going to matter. Nest Ball's pretty good. Throw Jamming Tower. Can't Crispin and do that, unfortunately. I mean, we have to get these. Which means we have to rely on Night Stretcher, which there's a lot of, actually. Let's get Munkidori down. Let's get... We go Fade Out here. Not a bad option. Who do we Fade Out onto is the question. We can counter Catcher, force them. Is the scary one? I think we have to... And we've already committed. Do the 10 damage. So this is going to make it so they can't just easily have a KO turn with Calamities, with Frenzied Gouging. We'll do it like that. We'll save the energy, take Spiritomb off the board. We'll put Spiritomb back down because it looks like they wanted to kill it. And then we'll, because they've spent their Prime Catcher now, we'll have the Fire Energy. We have the Fire Energy in hand now. We also have the Kieran if they don't retreat the Roaring Moon, which is very good for us. Yeah, because they're looking for the Dark Patches. They're desperate for their Dark Patches. This is why I did not want Roaring Moon down. There goes a boss. That's good. We're not getting their Dark Patches. That is relatively okay. They need boss. Okay, Sadas. They don't get an attack off here because this doesn't have an energy on it yet, so that's good. Doesn't seem to be a deck that runs. I mean, I guess they could retreat that, like attach, like subjugating chains that up, attach dark patch, retreat. Not looking like that's the case though. That might have been spooky actually if they did it that way. That's fine. Okay. Are you retreating? No. Well, yes, you are. So they've already attached, so they actually would have had Frenzied Gouging this turn, which is not ideal. They're trying to shore up the prizes here, which they're going to do, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we just lose, unfortunate. We don't have a way of getting that out unless we top deck boss. And even if we do, we just lose. It's probably game now. That's too bad. Yeah, we had it, but... Fucking 15th Pokemon catcher of the game. Lose to a coin flip. Ooh, that is huge, actually. Prime catcher, that. Kieran. So we'll take the boss. Fucking need. Night Stretcher's so fucking bad right now. You've got to be kidding me, man. Thank you. That's big. Put that back down. This. Is there anything else that I want to do here? Probably not. Take that out. I mean, they could just hit 320 here. They have a shit ton of damage in the discard pile now, but that was their win con, so that was kind of big for us. No, all they just have to do is boss up Fez and win, so. But at least we put up a fight, so there's that. We'll see. They have boss, they just win. If they don't win on this turn, then we win, so. Fine. See what happens. Bosses, they win. Fourth Pokemon catcher, if they get heads, they win. Do they have enough damage in the discard pile? I don't know. I don't feel like doing math. They have a lot of ancient stuff in the discard pile, though. They haven't played a lot of Sadas, though. So I guess they're doing math now to see if they hit the 320. Gotcha, of course. Of course. It doesn't matter anyways. Okay. I mean, if... Okay, so no judge, so no boss. They have to hit the 320 here. Okay, Ultra Ball is going to get more damage in the discard pile, obviously. I mean, if they have it, I guess. Unless you kill chains, it doesn't matter what you bring up, pretty much. No, it mattered. We needed to kill the Roaring Moon EX is what we needed to do, so... That's what we needed to kill, was the Roaring Moon. Yeah, I think they have it now. It's too bad. Oh well. I think that's enough now. I I mean, they're really close to getting 320. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math. 160? Oh my god, they did nothing. Okay. Well, GG's. Crazy. That was an insane play. All right. Not a deck that we're very favored into. Didn't even have to use Dusknoir in that game. So this was a huge turning point for us, actually. So Budew is very, very good into this deck until they get set up, and then it's like, it's not really big. Because they have Petulant, Budew is not as effective into this deck, but it is good for certain things. So getting Artisan was kind of nice because we get Dreepy down. It doesn't matter because they just immediately do 10 million things and get boss's orders. Like, look at how ridiculous this was, okay? Opening turn. Opening turn. Roaring Moon. They used our Artisan for Roaring Moon. Okay, whatever. Nest Ball. Squawkabilly. 2 Pokemon catchers, both tails. Squawk and Seize. Earthen Vessel. Nest Ball. So they've had 3 Nest Balls now in their opening 14 cards. 3 Nest Balls, Radiant Greninja, Trekking Shoes, which I guess that they picked up the Dark Patch. So they Dark Patch, Subjugating Chains, Boss's Orders in their opening fucking God Top, and knock out Dreepy. Which is very unfortunate because we literally just had opening turn 1 Dragapult, but it delayed our Dragapult by a turn, which is unfortunate. So they're poisoned. We get to Buddy Poff in this turn, which this was huge, actually. This was fucking massive. This was massive because it gets stuff on board for us without having to like commit Arven to using Buddy Poffin, because we wanted Ultra Ball to potentially get something else the following turn, but Arven gets us Defiance Band, which is pretty funny because we had a few ways that we could go there. We could use Iono, we could go Arven, but having the rare candy Dragapult in hand, I didn't want to Iono that, so Artisan gets us a second Dreepy. So now we're like set up here. We have 2 Dreepies, we have a Duskull, we have our Budew hitting for 80 damage now with Defiance Band, which is hilarious because that actually is significant damage. And then they take 10 more damage. They're item locked for this turn, so they can't do anything. They can't set up another Roaring Moon. They can't get another Roaring Moon down. They can't do anything here. So they just have to attack. And they knock out the Budew, which is fine. So now we're down to 4 prizes. Now they're down to 4 prizes. Roaring Moon's within Dusclops range now, which is great for us. So we Buddy Poff in here. We play Spiritomb just in case they're playing V Pokemon. I don't think they are. But again, we don't want the chances of Lumineon coming out and just guaranteeing them what they need. So we want them to have to work for it, have to earn it. So we put down Buddy Poff in here. Rare candy into Dragapult to get a Dragapult on board. Even it's a bit dangerous knowing that they could possibly be running the big moons. It's a bit dangerous, but we have it because we want to play Iono. So we play the Iono. We get a Dusclops anyways off of the Iono, which is great. Which is what we would have Ultra Balled for anyways. Monster Hunter Wilds crashed. Oh no. We wanted to Ultra Ball for a Dusclops anyways, so we end up getting one off of the Iono, which is perfect. Which lets us take the KO on Roaring Moon. Which this gives us a card, which is kind of important. So we take out the active Roaring Moon without having to attack, which means we can potentially put damage on a follow-up Pokemon that comes into play. So we knock out the Roaring Moon. They take another prize. They're down to 3 prizes. This is getting a bit spooky range. And then we get Drakloak off of prizes, which is phenomenal because now we evolved 1 Dragapult. We have another Dreepy. So Dreepy evolves to Drakloak, which enables us to start getting draw. And then we have a 3rd Dreepy on the bench and we have a Drakloak for the following turn. So now we would have loved to have a Phantom Dive or something that's not a dark energy. We would have loved to have a Phantom Dive set up for a following turn, which we could have had technically if because like this one could have been an energy search, which would have gotten us a fire energy, would have preserved the dark energy. But in the same sense, like the chances of us drawing into an energy are fairly good. So we don't necessarily want to turn our noses up at having two potential draw engines on board. So having a Drakloak in hand is better than chancing a Drakloak. So then they start getting spookier by putting Roaring Moon down. They shuffle their deck with Artisan. They put Pokestop back into play. They get Nest Ball. So then they throw away a Roaring Moon EX. They Trekking Shoes and grab. They don't take the Earthen Vessel because they have a lot of energy. They Night Stretcher another Baby Moon back into play, which was interesting. So the Prime Catcher here, if they knock out Spiritomb, this becomes a bit spooky now, because if they knock out Spiritomb, they go down to 2 prizes. And then all they have to do is load up the Roaring Moon and then knock out our Dragapult with Frenzied Gouging, and they don't care. So Frenzied Gouging becomes their win condition at that point in time if they knock out Spiritomb, which they don't. So we have a turn here to preserve Spiritomb. So a couple of things happened here, but I guess it doesn't really matter because they were swinging for damage anyways, but I'll go over why it was important. So we draw Iono, which is good. We evolve to Drakloak, we Recon Directive. Counter Catcher was immensely important. So was Kieran. Kieran means that if we can get the Dragapult in a position, we can just use Kieran to get the one shot on their Roaring Moon. So Kieran becomes a key piece here, and we can't Iono it away. But we also just can't attack with Dragapult because it only has a dark energy. So if we had the fire energy in hand, or if we had the fire energy on the Dragapult previously, we had potential to have a counter catcher Kieran play this turn, which we didn't, unfortunately. But so we had to hope on something in Pokestop. We got the Pokestop. We put down Jamming Tower to bump the Pokestop. It kind of like make them have to have options here. So we play Crispin to get the energy that we needed, obviously. Attach one to Dragapult. We can't just freely give up Spiritomb because that means that we lose the game, right? So unfortunately, we have to attack with Spiritomb to remove it from the board state, so it's not an easy KO on their end of the board, at least in the active, because we can retreat it, but that's not really achieving anything. But if we attack with it, Spiritomb's energy goes back into our hand, which means we have Phantom Dive the following turn. So we counter catcher to get Roaring Moon in the active slot to put chip damage on it. So twofold things here. Two things happen here on the Roaring Moon. Get a drink for a second here. Two things happen for this Roaring Moon. We want to bring it active because we want to stop them from being able to easily power up the Roaring Moon on the bench. So we don't want them to Dark Patch the Roaring Moon this next turn. We want them to just strictly focus on their benched Baby Moons and not worry about powering up the Roaring Moon. So, you know, the 10 damage is not really going to be significant because we don't have money. We don't have damage for Munkidori to move around, so it doesn't really matter. But what is significant about this is that we put Spiritomb, we take Spiritomb out of the active, we take the fire energy, we put it back in hand, which guarantees us a Phantom Dive the following turn. We put Dragapult in the active slot because we know that they can't attack with the Big Moon, or they're going to be a very difficult time attacking with the Big Moon. And they don't necessarily want to this turn because they still have 3 prizes. They want to finish off the game with Frenzied Gouging. They don't want to go down to 1 prize with Frenzied Gouging because then that's an easy 2-prize KO for us to clean up. And then we just KO something else on their bench. And then it basically, we could take a 4-prize turn very easily if we gusted up the Pecharunt and then bench attacked the Roaring Moon. So They want to finish the game with Frenzied Gouging, so we're putting them in a bit of a pickle position here. So they do a little bit here to get in. This would have been spooky because they could have actually achieved a Frenzied Gouging on this turn, even with the way that we set it up, but it would have been pretty destructive to their board because the way they would have had to do it would be to Subjugating Chains the Baby Moon that had energy on it, Sadas to the benched moon and the active moon, attached to the active moon, and then played Dark Patch, all of which could have happened, and then retreated the active moon to the Roaring Moon EX and had a KO on my Dragapult. All of that could have happened, but they chose to get the Baby Moons powered up because I believe they were going for Pokemon Catcher, so they flip heads on Pokemon Catcher to get my Munkidori. Now this puts them in a position. This puts them in a very strong position because then they go down to 2 prizes. And unless we can get their Roaring Moon knocked out, their Big Moon, because it has 2 energy on the bench now, it's threatening that if we knock out this Roaring Moon, they come back in Frenzied Gouging for game. They're in the position that they want to be in now, where they have 2 prizes remaining and they have an automatic knockout, and we have no way of dealing with it, at least that they can think of, right? So we top deck Prime Catcher, which is phenomenal for us. We need our free pivot because we need to commit the energy attach to Dragapult this turn for Phantom Dive. So we need to get Budew back into the active slot, or back into play. So Recon Directive, it gives us a boss for a future turn. Fezandipiti gets us 3 cards deeper into the deck, which unfortunately is not any cards that we need because we don't have a Skull Down for Dusclops. Dark Energy is not going to work for us, so we need Night Stretcher. So we YOLO on Pokestop. Night Stretcher was the next card on top of the deck, so we get Night Stretcher. Phenomenal, because that guarantees us Budew. We Night Stretcher Budew. We Prime Catcher the Roaring Moon up. The entire situation here is we needed to not play a supporter to get the Roaring Moon active. Because the problem is if we gust up the Roaring Moon and we attack it for 200 damage, we're 20 damage shy of killing it, and then it just knocks us out for game the following turn. So we need to take this off the board on our turn or we lose. So the only way that is possible is for us to Prime Catcher onto Budew, because we need to have an energyless retreat. So Budew on the bench, Prime Catcher, Roaring Moon, Budew goes to active, Budew retreats, Dragapult's in the active. We play Kieran and we choose to do 30 more damage to Roaring Moon. So now we're hitting for 230. This already had 10 damage, but that doesn't matter. So now we're hitting for 230 damage. We put Spiritomb down back on the bench because just in case they have some tomfoolery with the following turn, just to shut off any Pokemon Vs that might be coming into play. I don't think there were any, but just in case. And then we hit for 230. We take a knockout on Greninja. So that's 3 prize turn. And all of a sudden, we're down to 2 prizes. That evens up our prize map. So we took out a knockout earlier on the Roaring Moon. Now we've taken 3 prizes here, so now we've taken 4 prizes in total, brings us back to even prizes. All we need to do now is knock out the Pecharunt that's on the bench, and luckily we have boss's orders in hand, so if they cannot knock out Dragapult this turn to win the game, we have game on board. They put up the Roaring Moon. They do everything they can here, and unfortunately they just happen to have Judge, which is incredibly annoying. But the nice part about Judge, as opposed to Iono, is that Judge shuffles the cards back into the deck and you draw cards from the deck there. Luckily, we got Judge, we got boss's order, we got boss's orders immediately back, like right back without having to dig for it. We still had 2 Drakloaks. Because if they don't knock out our Dragapult, then we have to find boss for game at that point. So it adds an extra step for us, but luckily the judge gives us our board state immediately back. We have, I think, one boss in this entire deck. So the fact we shuffled 11 cards back into the deck and drew 4, and of those 4, it was the boss's orders. We literally got back like all 4 of these cards that were in the 11, so that was fine. But so we get the boss back. They Pokestop. They don't quite get anything in the discard pile. They only had 160 damage in the discard pile, so that means we survive. Obviously, if we take the knockout that turn, they could potentially do another 160 for KO, so we have to win on this turn. Countercatcher is not active because we're both even prizes, but it doesn't matter because we have boss. We just boss up Pecharunt, Phantom Dive for game. Very fortunate off of the boss draw from the judge, but I'll take it.